All right. So you guys all got the warm up right, so we're not gonna go over it because what's the point?
I know, I.
So
me.
today I'll help you later. You watch videos.
Like,
So today we're gonna be looking at circles. Today we're gonna mix it up a little bit.
Circles are very good.
And I couldn't fit everything on your notes
I
here.
hated frickin' circles.
So on the top you should write like 10-6, so you know it's chapter 10, section 6. Because I didn't have space to fit that title there. So, we're going to be working with circles and finding circumference and area. So, in this circle, there's a few different things. So, point P right here is a center. This angle APC is a central angle. I don't ever use that word, so you don't really know that, I guess.
Central.
Okay, so what we're going to use a lot are two things. So, AB here is a diameter. Because diameter goes all the way across.
No, the radius.
And then PC.
Radius.
Yep.
Radius.
PC goes from the center out to the outside.
Radius.
And it is a radius.
Ew.
Radius is halfway.
I'm very sorry.
Okay.
What is it?
Sharpen my sword.
Alright, and a radius is halfway across.
The pencil is.
So diameter is all the way, radius is halfway. And if you have if you have a diameter, you can find the radius, or if you have the radius, you can find the diameter. Because the radius times 2 equals the diameter, or diameter divided by 2 equals radius.
Whoa.
So you can go back and forth between them. If you have one, you have the other one, you just might have to divide or multiply.
And radius is lowercase, not capital R, right?
It doesn't matter.
Really? I thought I would.
No, that's just like rotate and deflect. I
Gotcha.
like that.
Because we're learning about circles.
Not squares. Yay.
I'll make sure everybody has these notes down before I move on.
I'm good.
Do you say that to just like practically ask us so we have it written down?
Kind of, sometimes. Not with you guys as much, like with the freshmen. Be like, if they're not writing, be like, I'll wait till everybody has it down. And be like, oh yeah. I'll start writing.
That's me and Mr.
Oh! Dude, we had one of those moments in oh, Papa Dave. We're getting ready to go to
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff happened next period.
McDonald's?
McDonald's. Yeah, McDonald's. That one is one. We're going to McDonald's, right? Papa Dave starts driving off, and Major had like 1 foot in the truck, and then me and Major did at the same time. Oh! And then he like locked up on the brakes. It's funny.
What did that have to
You
do
call
with
Papa
the
Dave
circles?
too? I call him Papa Dave ever since I met him.
Anyway, let's keep going here. Okay,
Strength.
so a little bit more
No, for real,
vocab.
he is.
Get it? That's
So
strength.
there are a
Or
couple
S
more
resistance.
things. So when we look at circles, remember how when we did triangles,
Strength.
we did the little triangle symbol for it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
circles have a little circle symbol.
Yay.
So this is circle RTS. That's how you read it. But there's one thing that I accidentally deleted. When you talk about a circle, you put a little dot in the middle. So this is circle RTS right here.
Oh.
Otherwise it looks like O RTS. So you put a little dot to show that it is circle
So it's like an
RTS.
eyeball?
It's a circle.
Kind of, yeah. So that's circle RTS. And then
Love
arcs, we're also going to be looking at arcs. And an arc is a section of a circle. So like RS is an arc right here. And the way I show it's an arc is by drawing a little arc over the top. That reads as arc, S-E-R. So we're going to look at some arcs in here. And arcs are just like pieces of a circle. Almost like
Are you talking
like
about
the
the
outside. If you're like cutting it like a pizza, an arc is like the outside crust.
ship? Are you talking about the ship arc?
No.
The game arc?
You know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and Major played. It's like Minecraft, but more.
Realistic.
Surprises me.
Why?
For the
I don't know why.
graphics.
Because you're not this, you don't seem to be like the gamer type.
The arc.
Not
Me?
that kind of game.
Arc is
Yeah,
fun.
not that
We're
kind
talking
of
about that game.
Alright, anyways, let's keep
Fun
going.
too.
So,
Nah. I
inside
played
here,
Mortal Kombat,
STR is a major arc,
Fork knife.
and RS, don't say that. RS is a minor arc. So,
Wait, how
there's,
is that an arc? STR?
so let's look at it. Okay, STR. I'm going from S to T to R. That is the whole blue
Oh.
piece right here.
I thought it was like to the connecting the dots.
Mm.
So it goes.
So it's like a triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's on the arc.
Do you play
And
arc?
then RS is a minor arc. What?
Do you play arc?
I used to, yeah. Sometimes. Anyway. Okay,
You
so
nerd.
a major arc is more than half of a circle, and a minor arc is just less than half. So this whole slide is just basically vocab.
What
So
if it's half and half?
hate vocab,
bro.
Gosh.
You know, I'm not sure actually. It's like
What?
never just half.
You don't know?
Good question. We have to look that up.
You do not know. Wow.
What?
What if it's
Look
half,
what
like half and half? But the major and minor arc?
I'm gonna write that down for next time. Has to be next year. You take the class again. Alright, I don't know. You have to look that up. That's exactly how. I don't know. Alright. And
What?
Wait,
What
yeah, it doesn't have to
exactly
be a
half?
that's, you don't have to write that down, that's for me.
No, I know, but I have to
Alright,
be
and you can go, if you have a major arc, you can find minor arcs, because,
No, if there was an E, it was
or actually,
A.
I should say, let me rephrase this. So the degrees of any arc
Half.
is going to be 360 minus the degrees of another arc.
Oh, it'll be half. Okay, I got it now. It's half.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
confusing.
So if you have an arc, so for example, if I have arc,
Oh wait, no, I wasn't talking to you.
RTS.
Oh my gosh, I wrote the wrong thing down. That's gonna look ugly.
so if I have arc RTS, I can figure out what that is because there are 360 degrees in a circle. So if I subtract RS, which I know is 70 right here, I can find RTS just by doing 360 minus 70.
Half.
So 360
360
minus 70,
minus.
which is 290. That is going to
H
be
A F.
RTS, 290.
H A F.
Degrees
Half.
of.
I should have some degrees.
Sounds like a
symbols
half.
there.
Half. Balk. Sound. It's a balk.
Okay,
It's a so.
so we're going to be working with arcs a little bit before we get into circumference
Oh
and area
wait, no,
and
it's
stuff.
supposed to be an O to make it sound like a half. Okay, good.
Alright, so we're going to look at this
You're right.
shape, and we are going to list the major arcs.
Yeah, it's a
So, when I list arcs, I can do one of two things. I can list either 2 letters or 3 letters.
two.
But one thing to keep in mind, and actually, I think I said this, hang on, let me see if I said this on another slide.
Do A D.
I did.
Oh D A. You doing?
Yeah, that's fine, we'll just talk about it now. Okay.
Do A D.
So, when you can use either 2 letters or 3 letters, but you have to be careful. If you use 2 letters when you list an arc, for example, A, D, if it's 2 letters, it's always the shortest distance. So if I'm going to say arc AD, that is going to be this right here because that's the shortest distance. But if I'm going to use 3 letters, for example, arc
B.
ACD or ABD would actually be the same thing. That means I'm going from A, I got to go through B and then to D. So if it's 2 letters, it's always the shortest. 3 letters though, I just follow it around. So if I'm going to go here and list major arcs, that is parts of this circle that are more than halfway across. ACD is going to be a major arc, right? Because if I go from A to C to D, that's more than halfway.
Oh, what about B A D?
DA what?
B A D.
BAD, that looks like exactly halfway, and I don't know what that
Hey, what about
means.
you?
What?
What?
You stole my drink away?
Oh, someone threw it away.
Oh, that's cold.
The juniors like to throw stuff away. And it wasn't cold anymore, it was here for like 2 hours.
I was still gonna drink it.
Bye, Major.
Oh, yeah, I should have seen
Oh
last
my
week.
God. Get out of here.
Oh, big dude.
Alright, ACD is a major arc. What about ABD? That's a major arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
But isn't that exactly the same as ACD? Even though I would be writing it with different letters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly the same.
Yeah, but
So-
it's still a major arc.
But it's
And
exactly
it's
the same as
different letters.
ACD.
So
That's exactly the same. I don't dread it. Alright, another one. I could do BCA, right? Arc BCA.
yeah.
That would be a major arc. B to C to A. And let's see. I could do CDA.
Or D B C.
I could do DVC. Let's see. DVC. C, D, A. I
Or
can
not
do
understanding.
C, D, B, right?
Do we
Got
try
another
all
one.
of them? There's too many.
And I think
You pretty much did the same
Okay, we
thing
get the
twice.
idea.
Then if you
Yeah,
get put
you
C,
did
D, B,
D,
D,
B,
B,
C.
C, they're both
oh,
the same.
oh yeah, you're right.
Is that the same thing?
So
Ha!
technically, yeah. So,
No, actually it's not. Okay. D to B to C is this right here.
yeah. To C.
C to B to D is here to here. They're different.
Oh yeah, cause the okay, gotcha.
It's the other way.
I'm confusion.
What? I am confused on that.
So remember, it depends on where you start. Even though they're the same letters, I'm starting at D on the first one. I'm starting at D, I'm going through B, I'm stopping at C. On the second one, I'm
You're going
starting
through
at
A
C.
too.
Yep, we're going through A too.
So why don't you write D A B C?
You could, but you don't have to write that many.
So you could do D A C and D B C, and that'd be the same thing.
You could do DA, yes, that'd be exactly the same.
And when you're writing the short ones, you can just put BA.
So those are all of our major arcs, right? Minor arcs are less than half, so
AB.
AB or BA. I could do BC. I could do DA. And
CD.
yeah, CD, I missed that one. CD. I could do AC.
Yeah.
I can do arc AC, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that seems about
Yeah, I think that's it.
What about 8? Oh yeah. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
we
that's
get
it,
listed
yeah.
the smaller over the bigger ones?
Yeah, just
What
list
is that?
small arcs and big arcs. So just keep in mind, when it's only 2 letters, it's always the shortest distance. 3 letters, though, you follow. Okay. So this is actually not really the main part of our lesson. The main part of our lesson is going to be
This.
finding area and circumference. So circumference
I
is
never
the
learned how to
distance.
find circumference in
Wow.
6th grade.
Circumference is the distance around
I
a
did.
circle. So circumference is really just a fancy way to say
I did.
perimeter.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Circumference is just a fancy
Oh,
way to say perimeter. What's the perimeter of the circle is really what's the circumference of the circle. They're the same thing. It just circles get a fancy word for it. I don't know why.
How do you spell perimeter?
Perimeter.
Got it.
Okay? So to find circumference, I can do one of 2 things. Because when we look at circumference, it involves using either diameter or the radius. So
Okay.
circumference is either going to equal pi times diameter, or if I have a radius, that's half the diameter, right? So it's either going to be pi times diameter
Or pi times
or
radius?
2 times pi times the radius.
Yeah, that's what-
And the order you multiply these don't matter. So,
Radius,
like on this
yeah.
one, I could do pi times 2 times radius if you wanted. It doesn't matter.
No, it's just another way of doing it.
So these are really the same formula, but the only difference is
One
the
goes
radius
is
times
halfway.
2 is diameter, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
It's like, it's one half of it.
Yeah, so if I'm going to go through and find the circumference
Number 2.
on these circles down here,
2 times
so
pi
I have a
times
radius, right?
Yeah.
So I need to go
2
2
times pi
times pi
times radius.
times my radius, which is
Oh,
5, and just
3.14.
plug it into Desmos.
Or
That's a
3.14.
nice looking
Either way.
So 2 times.
Either way.
The
it's
pi button is down here by your square root, kind of by 0,
Because I
5, and we get 31.41.
Does it matter if it's a
The
radius?
numbers.
Yes, 300 degrees. That's
3.14159395.
So
Nine-
make sure when you do these,
359.
make sure you are in degrees,
Yeah, I could
because
type
we're not
that.
looking at
I got
radians
this.
today. I don't know that we will ever look at radians, unless maybe if you take pre-calc or something.
Somebody like wrote with their eraser on this Chromebook, and it's really annoying.
All right. On our next one, let me look real quick. Let's see. Don't forget if I gave you practice ones later.
You do, that's no idea.
All right. I want you guys to find the circumference of the next circle.
Easy.
Oh, but I forgot one thing on my last answer. What did I forget?
Units.
And since I didn't write anything, it's going to be units. U for units. Remember, circumference is like perimeter, so there's no square.
Ah.
You get 21.99.
So we're just going to go U for units.
Okay.
21.99
Maybe.
minutes.
94.5.
Maybe.
That's a radio channel.
Or it could be 22.
What? 94.5.
What was it?
Okay.
It was 27.99.
Radius. Diameter.
8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 1.
No.
2, 6, 7.
Oh, we sound so stupid.
1-800-226-77.
What?
Nope.
Alright, let's get started.
Just
Krista,
What?
what's my formula going to be to find the circumference?
Because I was making fun of so I'll ask you. Say something smart.
That's what
I can't speak. 5 times 7.
Hold
It
your
doesn't
breath.
work.
Is it units squared on this one?
No, because circumference is like perimeter, so just units.
But you used a different.
Yeah.
Oh.
The accent sounds
Never
so
mind.
funny when you said that.
Why?
It just does.
And what did you get, Tiana, when you plugged it in?
Yeah.
21.99, and because I was lame and didn't put units.
So
it's-
when do you know to use?
Say something smart.
when it's area. Oh yeah. This one has radius
God
and
damn it.
area.
This is- you gotta-
Is
you
that
Alright.
a little
gotta
word?
on the spot.
So we are also going to be finding.
Okay, say a sentence.
Okay. Question, Goki.
My
So
God,
you
like-
could go 10 times pi, right?
Yep, and be exactly the same.
That's a sentence. That's what I came
That's a good sentence. It's just your accent's funny.
All right. So we
Say
also,
something,
or
sentence.
we
Say
found
sentence.
circumference. We are also going to find arc length. So arc length is like the outside of a circle, or part of the outside of a circle, right? Like
American
if you
accent.
had
That's hilarious.
like a pizza or something, and you cut it. You cut it. All right. You cut up a pizza if you like the outside crust. So to find arc length, what you need to do is you need to take the degrees of the arc, divide it by 360, and then multiply it by the circumference.
Wait, degrees has 3 E. Oh yeah, it does.
So whatever the degrees of your arc are, divided by 360 times the circumference. And that is your arc length. So every time you're finding an arc length, you always need to find the circumference first. So if I have in this circle up here,
We sound
if
so
arc
stupid.
AB is 40, that means arc AB is 40 degrees, and the radius is 3, we can find the arc length of AB. So first thing I need to do though is find the circumference before I do anything else. So circumference is going to be, let's see, since my radius is 3, it's going to be 2 times pi times 3, 18.84. That's my circumference. So to find my arc length, I'm going to go 40 divided by 360 times 18.84.
360
And we can plug that straight into Desmos.
times what?
18.84. Plug it straight into Desmos. 40 divided by 360 times 18.84. I'll try it.
Times what?
CM squared, right?
18.84.
CM squared, right? CM squared.
Nope, because
just CM then?
it's,
Just
remember,
CM?
arc length is like a fancy part of perimeter.
So just
So
CM.
just CM. And I got my units on this one, centimeters, so 2.09.
Wouldn't the top one also be CM? Because you find
This one, yeah, but
2.09. Oh,
I should trust Kylie. I don't know, what'd you get, Chloe?
Yeah, I got that.
I guess I can't trust Kylie.
and
Alright,
it was like, what?
and that's it. So let's keep going. Let's practice another one or two. So we're going to find the circumference and arc length, and we actually talked about this. If there are 2 letters in an arc,
No.
that's always the shortest distance.
Ow.
Did you say
So what we're going to do is we're going to find the arc length of CB, and we're going to find the arc length of CAB. And my little arc symbols accidentally got erased, so put those in real quick.
Nope. No.
That's fine, be lame. Be
My
like
kids
here.
usually are both like, no.
Okay,
They're cousins.
so before I do anything, I need to find my circumference. And circumference is usually like a capital C for circumference. So let's see, I got my radius of 5 on here. My circumference is going to be 2 times pi times 5.
10 times 5.
Because I'm right out the long way. And we're going to get 31.41.
Oh,
That's my
frick.
circumference. Okay, so let's start by finding CB, arc CB. So if CB is 110 degrees, right here, I'm going to go 110 divided by 360 times 31.41.
I hate Chromebooks.
There's most and see what you get. So let's go
9.5.
110 divided
Did you say
by
5.9?
360
Yeah.
times 31.41. 9.60 in rounds.
Oh my god.
If you want it to
Can't trust
be,
you.
if you want it to be.
Around it, my bad.
Okay, so this is 9.597.
See,
7 bumps the 9 up, 9 bumps the 5 up,
See,
9.6.
I just get confused when it happens like that, so I just don't round it.
See him.
Wait,
I
what?
just figure I'm close enough.
What?
Okay, we get 9.
You're
Okay.
you're so
We plug this in and we get 9.597. But if we're going to round it to the second place, the 7 rounds the 9 up, right? But
Right.
then the 9 changes to a 10, which rounds the 5 up.
Yeah.
So it's 9.6, I guess 0 would be better.
Okay.
Okay, so we can also find arc CAB, but do I know what the degrees in arc CAB are yet?
No.
No. Well, we can find that by doing what we talked about before. Well, if CB is 110, CAB is going to be 360 minus 110, which is going to be 250. Hey, now I can just set it up again. 250 divided by 360 times 31.41.
What?
Plug it into Desmos. And Desmos is nice because I don't actually have to erase everything. I can just change this little thing right here.
What is it, 250?
260.
21.81.
Oh, my fault.
Okay, Gulks, you lost me.
Wait, what was it?
Right.
21 point
So-
what? I'm okay. I'm just
81.
curious.
So I was with you guys at 9.60
81?
cm.
Yep.
Then what? How'd you get 250 here? What'd you do?
Okay, so we used 110 because that's the degrees right here, right?
Okay.
Do you know what these degrees are?
No.
So we can find it by doing, there are 360 degrees in a circle, right?
Yeah.
So if this is 110, 360 minus 110 is going to equal this.
Cool.
Edge.
And then I got 250, I plug that 250.
I'm actually pretty amazed by this.
If there are 2 letters for an arc, they always talk about the
Alright.
circumference.
I think it's your guys' turn. Oh, are you still writing this down, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Oh,
I'm
my
sorry, I
God,
didn't
I'm gonna start all. Yeah.
Well, it's not that bad. I've seen worse.
You're starting to pumping.
Like you?
Sounds like Wilbur. Or Wilbur, does Wilbur imitate you or you imitate Wilbur?
You know, I don't know anymore. I don't know who started
Because
first.
Moses and Magi, and then I'll also talk like
Yeah, they're gonna talk about
Wilbur talked like that last year.
Ruben knows
Yeah,
that
you
too.
did.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's like,
No way.
Wilbur's the
No
goat.
way.
No way.
where's Bay?
Where is Wilbur?
That's what everyone did like 2 years ago.
I just want her.
Whenever
Alright, so your guys' turn. I want you to find arc AB.
A, B.
Wilbur's a goat.
Let's
So
do
I
AB.
have to find. No, I don't have to, right?
Oh, what's 360?
Wait, what?
You do have to find circumference first.
Oh, I know that.
7.
So find arc AB, then we'll do arc ABC.
I just do pi times 7, right?
Maybe.
Equals the diameter.
Just wiggling around isn't that good?
21. Put it on top. I just have to put 37. And then I have to put 21.
Did you do 14 times pi?
Yeah.
7 is the diameter, right?
22? 22, right? Got 22.
What am I?
You
You
also
told
get
me
22?
everything too.
So
Did you
then
get 22?
So that's what you're
I
gonna
got
put in your
1.
Where is that?
My Chromebook's apparently good.
I got
I got 2.26.
For the circumference.
All for a second, I don't know.
Yeah, what about the circumference?
Probably.
Did you get
Just circumference.
22? Circumference.
I got 21.99.
Yeah.
Then what do you do after that?
First,
Okay.
this is
So you got the circumference, right?
21.99.
Okay.
I don't know
Stuff
if
like
that's-
that.
Alright, so
No, you don't do two.
What-
That's the radius.
what is the
Just
degrees
pi
in
times
arc
7.
AB?
That's it.
Huh?
What are the degrees in arc AB?
37.
So 37 over 360 times your circumference you got already.
That's hella annoying.
What?
You're
Mayday what?
talking about Toledo.
What about it?
Well, it's because
He just keeps talking about it?
Oh my god, Rob. Yes.
That's where I got my.
Did he tell you about it, Goki?
Sure he did.
But yeah, he was talking about it.
See, dude, he
They went
told
all the way over there
he told-
just to lose by 4 points.
everybody.
Oh,
He's like,
me and
bro, we
Dave
lost.
were backpacking the team.
He's like, we both had 20 points, man.
Sure.
Zach thinks he did better than me. I'm pretty sure I did better.
Bro, he
Yeah,
told me
that's
like
about
he told me
exactly how he
like
sounded.
6 times, dude.
Okay, let's go over this one. So we gotta find circumference first. Joseph, how do we find the circumference? What was the formula?
Pi times 7.
Or 7 times pi, doesn't matter. And what'd you get when you plugged it in?
21.99.
8, 6, 7,
All right.
5, 3, 0.
So then to find AB, what do we have to do, Ryan?
Like, yes, maybe you
What?
want to.
What did you have to do to find AB?
360 minus 37. Because you only found the. No.
Oh, remember, AB, 2 letters, that means it's the shortest distance, right?
Yeah.
So it's just 37.
Yeah, Brian, you didn't know that.
Yeah. So we're gonna do 37 over 360 times 21.99.
Equals
Space
Yeah.
out.
I got the
Equals, what'd you get, Lark?
2.26.
What are you looking for?
I hope that's right.
Did you say 2.26? Yeah, that's right.
Yep, 2.26.
What? Goki, you gotta check my work.
Oh, but, no, it's wrong. It's wrong.
You
See ya, see ya, see ya.
No, just
Centimeters.
Just centimeters.
I didn't do it. I was
Alright.
about to do it, but then he started doing that.
Okay,
Why is there
let's
three
look
on
at the next one.
I
We're
can
gonna
do
find arc ABC. So I have A.
A little, yeah.
Let me use a different color. Hang on. All right. So
No,
arc
erase
ABC. A to D to C. How would I find out? So I have my circumference, right?
323.
What?
I don't
No.
know. 206.
Okay. So I already have
Damn.
most of my formula.
Yeah,
I need to
take
figure out.
away
I need to figure out the
Yeah.
degrees, right?
37 take away, or I mean 360 take away 37. Take away, or but you have to time that by 2. So whatever that is.
What?
What?
No, I'm talking about like never mind.
No.
Alright,
Okay. So how could we
Okay,
find
so-
if I knew what this piece was? What could I do?
360 minus 37.
Minus this piece though. Do we know what this piece is right
Literally, I
here?
just said that.
Yeah,
That's what you
it's
were
also
getting.
37.
37.
No.
It's
It's not also 37.
What?
Remember, look at your numbers. 37
Why are we
degrees.
doing this?
37
Bulky,
degrees is going to be like that. That's not. This piece is not 37.
I
But
literally
it says
just
90,
said-
90,
Okay.
90.
No,
90.
you don't know.
It's 90.
Okay.
It's 90.
This is a radius, or excuse me, a diameter, right? Which means it goes all the way across the circle.
Oh, God.
Which means this is half of a circle.
Yeah.
We're not gonna learn
what's
how to
half of
find
a circle?
freaking semicircles, are we?
What's 180? That means the
180
degrees
minus.
is 180. Just 180. You don't need to do anything else.
That's fine.
Except now plug 180 in your formula.
Aw, man. Oh my god.
So it's a little sneaky. It's a little sneaky.
I hate these things.
These things
should just be on scale.
Maybe you should just look at the numbers.
It's
It's a bulky. Maybe you
10.995.
should just make better
10.995.
freaking drawing.
At this point, what makes you think I'm capable of that?
I don't know, honestly.
You guys have seen my lines.
He's a
Draw
drawing.
lines.
thinking.
Okay, it's 10.995.
Here, quick.
We're almost done. Let's wait for the homework.
Okay.
What?
Then you have to change the 9 to a 10, which changes this to a 10.
So it's 1, 0.
That's 11.
And
10.10.
yeah, so
10.10.
no, 11.0.
What? I got 10.
Okay.
What?
No,
No, because it equals
Okay.
10.995, so that 5
Yes.
turns that
That would
to
be
10.
10.995, right?
10, so then that makes it zero.
they'll kind of try.
Okay. 5 rounds the 9 up to
Yeah,
10.
equal
The 10 rounds this 9 up to 10. This 10
Yeah.
rounds this
Gives
up
it
1
the-
higher.
I think I can handle it.
So it's going to be
I think
11.
I can handle it.
Oh my god.
And
that's
centimeters.
so-
My final answer is 11.
10.99.
No, because you got to round it to the second decimal. Because it's
Oh,
not right if you don't
shit.
round.
It doesn't say round. Hey,
You always round in my class.
At least they
I
make
have
me
always-
smart.
Maybe you should
They
put that,
should be
like,
smarter.
somewhere.
Shit always.
Like school. I don't want to be
That's
smart.
actually a good idea.
Wait, so is it not squared then?
No, because
Yes,
circumference
you
is like a
got it.
fancy perimeter.
I'll be
You only
happy
square
actually.
area.
I want to be
Mr.
quiet.
Golki, you need
I
to
wanna
like
know
baby
discipline,
proof this
but
because I
shit.
almost
Oh my
hit my
God.
eye just trying to write my paper.
You guys are in
Yeah,
high
it's
school.
all
I
about
trust you
baby.
not to cut yourself
You're
on
like,
High
what?
school
pieces of
You
metal.
know what I mean?
Well, like I went down and read on my paper. I was like,
So confused.
Yeah,
Alright.
I cut myself.
That's it. That's it. So we're gonna skip this one.
I already did it.
Oh,
Good job, Kylie.
and you know what? I'll make it a little easier. What?
did you just say scrub?
I said, oh well.
I'm pretty sure you said scrub.
I think you just changed
I
it.
did not say scrub. I called the freshman that, but not you guys.
Thank
I
you.
thought you- I
For
thought
your
you said
exit ticket,
ball.
all you have to do is find the arc length of CB.